I have with me also Sheriff Paul Blackman from Highlands County. And let me tell you what occurred. The Highlands County Sheriff's deputies tried to stop a vehicle for running a stop sign on Highway 627 and 17A in Highlands County. The vehicle didn't stop, so they started a pursuit. As the pursuit proceeded toward Polk County, they were just about to cancel the pursuit because they were only pursuing for traffic charges when they received a 911 call from a lady who said she was being held in the car. So they did not disengage. They continued to pursue 11 miles until they got here at 17A or Scenic Highway and T.S. Wilson Road. You can see the orange Nissan that's over my shoulder here, and it was caught up in a high area, high rise, so it lost traction. The pursuit stopped. Of course, Highlands County notified us, and here's what we found out. Raymond Martinez, who's 37 years of age, was the one in the passenger seat. What we believe to be one of our victims, or at least a partial victim, was the driver when the pursuit began. She was not allowed to stop. She was forced to continue to flee from the police. Now understand, as I always tell you, this is very early information, and certainly anything I say here is subject to change as the investigation goes on. But as is our policy, we give you the most information that we have, the quickest that we can. So now Polk deputies have arrived. They were not involved in the initial pursuit, and we're led to believe that there were 3 people in the vehicle. Our white female victim, Raymond Martinez, who is our suspect, and a baby. So our lieutenant arrives along with a lot of staff members, and we began to negotiate with him for his peaceful surrender. He tells us that he's got 2 firearms, 2 handguns with him. And over the next hour and a half, 2 hours, our lieutenant talks to him. He continues to smoke methamphetamine. You know, methamphetamine that some people want to call a low-level, non-violent drug. Those people are nuts, by the way. He continues to smoke his methamphetamine. Then he wants water. So we said, no problem. Let the baby and the lady out and we'll give you water. He refuses to do that. Then they negotiate and they try to de-escalate and calm him down and say, well, what can you trade us for the water? He throws out a magazine, and the magazine is full of ammunition. Then he clears a handgun and opens the door and throws it out. So now if he's telling us the truth, he's down to 1 firearm. He continues to tell the baby, quiet down, baby, quiet down, stay underneath the cover. Stay underneath the cover, it's okay. Well, in the meantime, Highlands County Sheriff's Office, doing a magnificent job, they start backtracking and they go, we have run down who he is and who she is, and we can account for his children. Because keep in mind that this is over a period of time. As you can well expect, now we've notified SWAT. Our SWAT team is en route. So despite our best efforts to the contrary of de-escalating and trying to get him to turn the lady loose, we have no luck. He is high and low and high and low as he continues to smoke meth through the evening. He's incredibly erratic. He at one time threatened suicide. He said he couldn't let the baby go, and he certainly couldn't let the woman go, because if he did that, then we would shoot him. We assured him that that was not the case, that we wanted to peacefully take him into custody. He accused detective from the Highlands County Sheriff's Office of being the Sinaloa cartel from Mexico, and he said the cartel was after him. So that's the kind of person we were dealing with. So SWAT team arrives, our crisis negotiators pick up the negotiation, and finally, after another period of time, they convince him to let the female out of the vehicle long enough to take a bottle of water back to him. She gets out of the driver's side of the vehicle. Our deputies immediately grab her, rescue her, bring her to safety. Now I want to underscore at this point in the investigation, we have rescued the hostage successfully and she's not injured. We confirmed with her at that point in time that there was no baby in the car, that this was just part of his ruse to keep us at bay. So the negotiations continued. He jumps over from the passenger side into the driver's side, puts the car in gear, and floors the gas pedal, winds up the car. He's spinning, throwing dirt and rocks every place, trying to get the vehicle off of the high center so he can once again flee. When that occurs, we introduce chemical agent to the vehicle. He's the only one there. He immediately starts shooting at the SWAT team. He shot at the SWAT team several times as they began to return fire. He shot one of my deputies, one of my SWAT team members, Samuel Yates. It turns out Samuel shot in the shoulder, and he's got some significant glass in his face from a bullet traveling through the window of this patrol car. Samuel Yates was trauma lifted to Lakeland Regional Health. He is in excellent condition. The initial information, the shot through the shoulder went high in the shoulder and is through and through, and they're having to do some minor surgery to get some big shards of glass out of his face. You can see on the ground here his equipment that's bloody from being shot. As you can well imagine, when you start shooting at a SWAT team, it doesn't end up well. And we shot Raymond Martinez a lot. We killed him graveyard dead. We gave him exactly what he asked for after negotiating and trying to de-escalate him for hours. He was shot and killed in an orange grove in Polk County because he asked for it and we gave it to him. We're not going to allow him to shoot at anyone, certainly not our deputies or the Highlands County deputies, without us taking the appropriate action. Make no mistake about it. We can't, at this point, even count all the rounds that we shot back at him. But he apparently got off several shots during the beginning of this gunfight. But when you have a gunfight with a SWAT team, you lose every time. That was his last bad decision of the night. The investigation's underway by our task force shooting team. We will provide more information to you, release more information to you as we know it. That's the initial information. But my friend and colleague, Sheriff Blackman, I'm going to ask him to speak with you. He is the county immediately south of Polk County. He runs an incredibly professional organization, and it's always an honor and a pleasure to work with his team. We do that quite often. Sheriff?
Thank you, Sheriff Judd. Just to reiterate some things that Sheriff Judd said, an initial traffic stop was initiated in the Highlands County area north of Avon Park. That was about 10:45, 10:46 last evening, so that would have been Thursday evening, June 29th. The deputies initiated that traffic stop under the suspicion that the driver was possibly under the influence, and that's why the initial traffic stop was attempted. That pursuit led towards to the north towards Polk County, and then to the Frostproof area here on Scenic road. We certainly want to appreciate and say thank you to the Polk County Sheriff's Office for their assistance in helping us get this individual off the streets. Certainly a lot of accolades go out to the crisis negotiation team for their efforts in getting this man to give up. Absolutely resulted in the saving of one hostage, and we certainly do appreciate that. And it's always a pleasure to work with the Polk County Sheriff's Office and under the leadership of Sheriff Judd. So thank you very much.
Do we have the relationship between the hostage and the suspect?
Not yet. We know, I think it's safe to say that they're friends. Are they married? We don't think so. Are they actual partners? We don't know. We'll release that information when we know it.
And she was able to get out unharmed, no injuries?
She was able to get out because of the work of our hostage negotiation team. And finally, apparently he needed or wanted water that bad. And quite frankly, we tried to bait him out of the vehicle so we could take him into custody by putting water around so he could see it, hoping that he would leave the vehicle himself. But finally, he let her come out long enough to get the water. That's when we grabbed her and escorted her to safety.
The booking photo you have, any insight on prior arrests?
Yes, he has 16 previous felony arrests. He has 13 previous misdemeanor arrests. He's been to state prison one time for a violent crime. He's got a litany of violent arrests as well as drug arrest. And once again, you all have heard this before. I'll not quit saying it. I'm sick to my stomach of there being a narrative that spread across this nation by a few people saying that drugs are low level and nonviolent. They were anything but low level or nonviolent last night. So at the end of the day, for those who continue to say that to the community, I certainly hope the community members look at them and recognize them for fools that they are by saying such a thing.
Do we know if he was a gang member? Did he have citizenship?
We have no indication on his citizenship or his gang status at this time. Once again, we're early into the investigation. All of our investigative teams are here now, and that's information that we will determine and release whenever we get to that point in the investigation.
SWAT team member Yates, how long has he been a member, and if you can tell us anything about
He's been with the Sheriff's Office about 3 years. He's actually a probationer on the SWAT team. I would say that he did a remarkable job. After he was shot this morning, he continued to stay in the gunfight. That's the kind of man he is. That's the kind of SWAT team that we have. They kept the fight going because they were bound and determined that this guy was not going to hurt anybody else. And he chose to die in a gunfight. We accommodated him. He said he wanted to go to heaven. We made the arrangements for him.
Did the suspect get out of the car at any point?
The suspect never got out of the car.
And were negotiations happening through a closed window, or was the window down?
He would roll the window down and talk to us and then roll the window back up.
And the chemical agent?
And on the telephone too, by the way.
And the chemical agent had no effect on him?
No, he was smoking meth, and as soon as we put the chemical agent in there, in the vehicle, that's when he started shooting. And when he started shooting, we started shooting. And when he stopped shooting, we were still shooting. Okay?
Thank you, Sheriff.
Sheriff, can you explain the cars? I know the orange one is the suspect's car. What are the other two cars? The black one and the red truck here?
So the red truck is one of our lieutenant's vehicles. The SUV is a Highlands County Sheriff's Office vehicle. That's where our deputy was shot. He was on the advance team there, and obviously you see our SWAT vehicle that was engaged as well. But it was a heck of a shootout for a few minutes. This guy, he was so jacked up on meth, he stayed in the gunfight because of his hyper drug-induced state for certainly a few seconds longer than we ever anticipated that he could.
And the SWAT vehicle, is that the officer's gear over there?
No, that's some of the SWAT gear, but that's not his that he was wearing. His is over here.
vehicle was here during the gunfight?
Yes, the SWAT vehicle actually has bullet holes. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Have a good day.